Command has been given. Crank him up.
Let's go. When I say I don't know, I don't know.
Let's go, baby.
Now, the Morning Drive.
Buckle up, everybody.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's a game changer.
I listen to you guys every single day on my way to work.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio.
You guys are amazing.
What are you doing over there?
I'm going to the top.
The Morning Drive with Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
To the bat balls.
Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, live and on the air for this Monday morning, March 27th, 2023. Mike Bagley here in Del Marvelous Studio 1D. We've got Pistol Pete Pistone in the Paisan Palace in Chicago. We've got Sammy and Davey in Studio 134 of the Beltway Bureau in our nation's capital. We welcome each and every one of you to this Monday morning, and happy day one of the work week to you, Triple P.
Good morning, Bagman. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to one and all. A brand new week here on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio after a rough and tumble Sunday afternoon down in Austin, Texas.
Going left and right for the first time in 2023.
From Circuit of the Americas.
Drivers, start your engine!
Crank him up, gang. Crank him up.
Green flag drops on the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix.
Trouble coming out of turn number 19. One car has gone sideways, and we've got a lot of smoke there in that final short chute on the racetrack. It looks like Keselowski is stopped on the track in the short chute between 19 and 20. Another car is up by you, Doug and Mark, in turn number 19 trying to get going. Jimmy Johnson is going to have to hit the pit road. He's a part of this first incident.
And Austin Cindric scoots out in front as they drive under the Geico pedestrian bridge and into the S's. Turns 3, 4, and 5. New leader, Austin Cindric, at least for now. William Byron's in second. Third place is Ty Gibb. Daniel Suarez is in fourth, and A.J. Allmendinger's in fifth.
Looked like Cindric bobbled a bit at the exit of turn number 10. Here comes Tyler Reddick. He'll look to the inside. That's driver's left in turn number 11. He's got the preferred line, and he'll scoot underneath Austin Cindric. Can he clear him out of turn 11? He will. He'll move to the right side of the racetrack. We've got a brand new leader, and it's Tyler Reddick. Austin Cindric settles into second. He'll try to fight back.
The 5 car of Kyle Larson and a couple of other cars, somebody just totally missed their mark in the braking, and they ran right into each other. All of those cars got going again.
Somebody blew through there, no brakes, and hammered us.
William Byron will get credit for winning stage number 1, his 4th stage victory this season.
Something about this as he swings, just get ready to say, as Kyle Larson spins right in front of me. Cars start to avoid him as he gets back underway. There's a lot of dirt to the high side at the apex of that corner, and if you get into it, you're going to lose all the grip and spin around.
Tyler Reddick right now has almost the front straightaway as a lead over the second place running Austin Dillon. You might be able to hear him swish by right now, and then it's quiet for a long time before the next car comes by.
Caution is out on the racetrack.
I got debris on the hill between turns 8 and 9, and that brings out our third yellow of the day here in the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix.
This will be interesting because Logano has older tires, and Harrison Burton earlier, we were told, had lost first gear, and Tyler Reddick overshoots the corner to his inside. Here comes William Byron, and that pair will battle for the lead with a hornet's nest behind him.
Reddick is there out of turn number 10. William Byron goes up and over the red and white curbing. He'll leave the inside lane open, and Tyler Reddick is going to pounce. They'll go side by side into turn 11. Reddick will sweep underneath Bowman, and he'll take the race lead.
Caution is out on the racetrack.
I think that's going to be caused by Brad Keselowski. His car is kind of stranded out on the racetrack.
Green flag is back out with 9 laps to go here at COTA.
Up the hill, 13 stories to the top. A moment of insanity as they fan out 6, 7 wide. I don't even know how to tell you they're running, but Tyler Reddick is already at the front. Caution is on the court.
That'll be the 5th yellow of the day. Ross Chastain couldn't get his car refired.
Rosin up the cue, rack him, and let's break him again. Here we come into turn number 1. It is Tyler Reddick. He swings wide. William Byron will try to get to his inside. To his outside is Christopher Bell. 3 cars battling for the top spot.
As they head down the back straightaway, and we get that yellow flag here at Circuit of the Americas.
And you called it, Nick Yeoman. It's debris off of Austin Dillon's car, who shredded a tire out there.
Green flag is back out to the gearbox. Tyler Reddick moves to the left to make a block, and they're up the hill.
Caution to the wind, boys. Let it rip into turn number 1. They're 8 wide. Guys, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Tyler Reddick opens the inside lane. Here comes Kyle Busch
pushed to his inside. 3 cars spin. Everybody continues down the hill toward turn 2.
Caution is out once again here at COTA.
It's for Ryan Blaney. He had a left rear tire going down, and finally it just gave up the ghost and started shredding.
It is equally as wild as it was the last time. Reddick has got the middle lane. Several cars going around. Martin Truex Jr., he's involved with Daniel Suarez as the leaders are off turn 2.
Caution is out. We are going to have another overtime restart.
Green flag is out. The third overtime is underway here at COTA.
Reddick took his team's advice the previous restart and protected the inside. This time he doesn't do it. He goes up the middle. Alex Bowman tries to get to his outside. Bowman gets bumped by Busch. Alex Bowman is second. Race leader off turn 2. Tyler Reddick by 2 car lengths.
Tyler Reddick now headed up the hill to the final turn.
Tyler Reddick now diving into turn 11, first gear, making that left-hand turn. Now on the front stretch. Tyler Reddick has been the fastest man all day here at the Circuit of the Americas, but he's had to survive 3 overtimes to win the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix. Tyler Reddick gets his first win at COTA and his first win in 2023.
Come on! Let's go! We're here! What do it! Way to dominate! That is a monster win, buddy! Thank you!
That's how it sounded yesterday on the Performance Racing Network, the NASCAR Cup Series racing in the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas. And at day's end, it was Tyler Reddick, a lights-out performance, although being tested and going into 3 overtimes. Petey, your thoughts about yesterday's trip to Austin, Texas?
Well, the fastest car certainly won the race. The best car won the race, but as you mentioned, it wasn't easy. Chaotic at the end, 3 overtime finishes before the checkered flag flew. And really, I think, guys, to me, it was a tale of 2 races. The stuff we saw prior to the overtimes was one thing, and then what we saw when the overtimes started to pile up, sorry, no pun intended, is what we got. It was a completely different race at the end. But I'm happy that Tyler Reddick was able to do it. And when you think about it, Mike, you know, Chase Elliott has been the best road course racer we've had here in a while. I know Chase wasn't in the race yesterday, obviously. Tyler Reddick might be taking that mantle now. A 3rd road course win for him and his first with his new team, 2311.
It's funny you bring that up because I was thinking about that once the race got done last night. With Chase in absentia, has this opened the door for a new king of the road in the Cup Series right now? I would say yes, and Tyler Reddick would be that driver.
Well, there's no doubt. He did it 2 times last year with Richard Childress Racing, and now he does it for the first road course race of 2023 with his brand new team. And the Tyler, and you could say this about Chase Elliott too, Mike. Tyler Reddick is not a guy that grew up road course racing. So it is still a little bit of a surprise to me that he is so good and that he flexes muscles the way he does here, because this is the guy that grew up in a completely different discipline of racing. But you could just tell all weekend long. It was one of those weekends. I remember on Friday we said, listen, we're going to watch practice because there's a new rules package. Let's see how fast these cars are. We'll certainly watch qualifying on Saturday. He had one of the fastest cars all weekend long. Started outside the front row and went out and led 41 laps before able to survive. And, let's be frank, survive is the right word there at the end after the triple overtime.
So you said that it was a tale of 2 races. I agree with that assessment. What was, in your opinion, the personality of part 1 of that race leading up to this clunky finish that we had with all the overtime restarts?
Well, I think the personality of the first part certainly had a lot to do with not having stage breaks, which, as we all know, was the topic of conversation pretty much across the board last week coming into the race, and the strategies that started to play themselves out. And, there was a couple of times where there were so many different strategies on pit road happening. Stages obviously were still there in terms of distributing points, but they did not break and come down pit road. And I felt like the flow of that part of the race, in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, a bit refreshing because it is different. It was back to sort of the old school feel. And I thought some of the racing was really good. I mean, there were some great battles. I mean, the Tyler Reddick, William Byron battle comes to mind for the lead. That was really good. But then as things got clogged up at the end and we got a late caution, and I think are we like 5 out of 6 this year with overtime finishes, that racetrack turns into something that, for whatever reason, people now could not find their way around without making contact with others. I mean, it felt like the first part, Mike, they were all able to do the whole funnel down from 10 to 11 wide through that tight first turn, but they weren't able to do that. The 3 overtime finishes that we had there, and there were some other kind of contact and damage and accidents on the rest of the racetrack. It reminds me a lot, guys, of the first turn at Indianapolis on the road course. It just reminds me a lot of that. And remember what happened last year there. It was sort of the same idea, same flavor, same finish that I felt we had yesterday before we finally were able to get all the way through and Tyler Reddick win the race.
I may be in the minority here, but I was actually looking forward to seeing the race come down to a fuel mileage race. To me, getting rid of those staged breaks and not throwing the caution flags, that set up a strategy that was building and building up to a head, and then it goes away with 9 to go when the caution flag came out. Because I'm not sure if a lot of them were going to make it to the end. Some were short 4 and 5 laps. I know a couple of guys up front were short a lap. That's almost 3.5 miles you're short, and you're trying to save gas. So you had Byron trying to run Reddick out of gas. Then you had the 8 that was sitting there good to go with Kyle, and then it all went away. I was kind of disappointed with that.
Well, I think we all have said before, fuel mileage races are part of the sport. I don't want one on a regular basis every week, but once in a while throwing them in the mix. This race, of all the races so far this year, had all the ingredients because of being a road course, being no stage breaks and all of that. And you're right. There's a time and a place for one of those races. This was one of those times and places. So I agree with you. But then it gets down to the end and people just literally, it almost feels like they just lose their minds. It's crazy. It's like the guys that you saw drive so well and so with so much finesse, it's just disappeared at the end. And, you saw Ryan Preece tweet out hacks. I mean, Ryan Preece got crashed there and he got out of the race car. I don't know how fast he got out, guys, but he had his phone in his hand that he got his Twitter account up and he tweeted out hacks literally before they went back green, I think, from the accident he was in. So we get it. The checkered flag is in the air, so the dynamic is going to change. The complexion is going to change. But just that was so abrupt that the way it ended was nowhere near what I thought we got for the first 2.5 hours of that race.
Now, as far as the drivers coming in with other racing disciplines, it looked like that one of them in particular was going to make an impact, and that was Jordan Taylor. Good qualifying run, started up front, but at the end of the day, Jenson Button was 18th. Jordan Taylor was 24th. Kimi Räikkönen was 29th, Connor Daly 36th, Jimmy Johnson 38th after not even being able to complete one lap at COTA on Sunday.
Yeah, that one for sure was disappointing. I mean, Jimmy just a victim of circumstance and didn't even get out of there without, as you mentioned, a lap under his belt. I, again, thought last week we were pretty fair that even though all these drivers have such great credentials and great resumes and they're great race car drivers in their own right, making a jump to the Cup Series is difficult. And I thought Jordan Taylor, and he was the guy that I think most of us felt because he was in a race car, as good as the 9 car is for Hendrick Motorsports, was going to be able to make the biggest impact. And you're right, he did. He had a really good qualifying run. It was nice to have those guys there, but end of the day, you listen to all of them afterward, Jenson Button, Kimi Räikkönen, you name it, Connor Daly, they know how difficult it is to race, limitedly, on a limited basis on the Cup Series, and I think that showed yesterday.
When we come back, you'll hear from the top finishers in yesterday's Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix. Coming up bottom of the hour, we'll give you headline check number 1. We'll also start our exercise of checkered flags and black flags. This is where you tell us something you like. Tell us one thing that necessarily didn't pass your fancy there. We'll get going with that just past our first checking of headlines. In hour number 2, we'll recap our picks, our prop bets, our fantasy teams. We'll also give you the calendar around 8:50 a.m. Eastern. Jeff Gluck of The Athletic will join us at 9. We'll also recap the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series races, and we are with you until 11 a.m. Eastern Time as we debrief from road course race number 1 of the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season.